Sasol, as I mentioned, is an international integrated energy and chemical company operating in 37 countries.
Exactly. Remember, of course, established in the 1950s using that Fischer-Tropsch process to manufacture liquid transport fuels from a coal-based feedstock. Although, of course, it has expanded globally now. It uses a lot of gas from Mozambique. It's got a plant in Qatar. It's got a plant in the Louisiana coast of America, which they were going to expand enormously, but have since decided somewhat to pull back from.
Exactly. Market cap here, 260 billion rand, PE of 6.45, dividend yield of 5.12%. Where do we stand with the Sasol discussion at the moment?
Well, look, Sasol fundamentally boils down to what is the oil price going to do over the next year. I mean, that is your call on Sasol. When you look at the share price, looks cheap enough, but of course at 52 or less dollars per barrel, it's probably correctly priced, if not a little bit overvalued.
Isn't there another element to that equation? You need to say what is going to happen to the oil price and what is going to happen to the rand.
Okay, the rand, who knows? You know, but I don't see the rand going back to 9 in a hurry. You know, so the rand will probably be positive or maybe slightly negative. It is very oversold at the moment, but I don't think the rand's going to be the swing factor. The big swing factor will be the oil price.
Let's look at the share price graph there.
Yeah,
Paul.
that's a tough one. Look, so everybody's loving it and talking it up in 2012, 2013. The oil price is at $120 a barrel, and then it starts to fall precipitously. The tail end of 2014, that's where the trouble starts. It's actually gone sort of sideways since then.
Barring those peaks.
The other thing that's news and that's on the table is that the CEO, David Constable, who we're very positive about because he had the right kind of project management experience to lead the Louisiana expansion, has decided not to renew his contract. So we're a little bit in limbo because of that. I don't know. I mean, I've been a big supporter of the company, but I fear, as Wayne does, that at the moment it's probably at its correct level.
Correct level, do you agree?
Look, there is some
Wayne?
light on the horizon. When you look
We
at
like to hear that there's light
when
on
you
the
look at the
horizon.
oil market worldwide, the big factor in the oil market is not demand, it's supply. And the supply principally from gas fields in America. Now, in the last 6 months at the low oil price, the amount of money that's been put into gas in America has more than halved. So there's been like $200 billion less investment in oil gas in America than what there was in the preceding couple of years. So this supply, this oversupply is going to disappear, because the way shale gas works is you don't sink a well and then pull the oil or gas out for the next 30 years. You only pull it out for a year and then you've got to sink another well. And there's no new wells coming. So there is actually light at the end of the tunnel here. You know, maybe not this year, next year.
Not enough light for you to buy into Sasol right now.
No, I actually think I will.
You are going to pick up? You're going to buy it?
He just convinced himself.
That was a kind of on-the-spot decision, if ever there was an on-the-spot decision to be made.
Well, look, remember, the rand, as Wayne mentions, is helpful to them. It would be disastrous for Sasol if the rand were to go back to 9 to the dollar. But I think the current market view anyway is that it's going to be kind of where it's at. They've still got a fabulously productive and fabulously profitable business. That Secunda operation where they take the coal and the gas from Mozambique and turn it into liquid fuel, still enormously profitable. It's just not quite as profitable as it was before. And the global upside is a little bit less. With oil at these levels also, that whole thing that I used to talk about, how someone's going to come and buy Sasol, like ExxonMobil's going to write a check for the whole of them because they want that technology, that's also perhaps pushed out.
I want to throw something else in here. If the bottom falls out of the Chinese market, which many people are predicting is going to happen, what is the implication for Sasol?
Quite frankly, all hell breaks loose, Sasol will be the least of your worries.
What do you mean the market? You mean the stock market or the Chinese economy?
The stock market.
The stock market.
No, I don't think the stock market.
Another 14% downside on the Chinese stock market?
I don't think the stock market's a massive long-term effect.
On Sasol?
On Sasol, in fact, quite frankly, on quite a few things. I think it'll be one of these bubbles and bursting of the bubble. It'll have a short-term negative effect, but over time, the Chinese economy does operate independently of the stock market.
What about contagion? So there's a huge sell-off in China. It can, the bottom falls out of the market, for want of a better term. Aren't we just going to see Sasol being sold off?
Other shares will get sold off significantly more than what Sasol will. The luxury goods companies will be sold off. Naspers will be sold off way more than Sasol. I mean, Sasol's already taken the punishment to a large extent. Other shares haven't.
I'm being alarmist here, Paul.
Yeah,
It's not going to
no,
go down
look,
well
I
with
think
you.
the fact is that Chinese market has been up by like 80% in the last year. Now it's down by 30%. I've been saying for a while it's a storm in a teacup. So I'm not too worried about that. The Chinese economy, I think, is going to do fine and consume more resources than people think. So I'm kind of Wayne's persuasion that probably fair value at current levels.
Hot
but-
or not?
I'll go hot and Sasol.
You're going hot. Paul,
You know,
hot
I'm
or
going to
not?
shock myself and everyone else by going not hot because we've been a long supporter of this. Quite a lot of our clients still own them, but I just feel that right now the oil price is more than likely going to stay at its current level, and there's not going to be much joy in the results announcements that are due for the June period coming
I
up.
wasn't expecting you to give a hot on Sasol, so you didn't
Okay,
shock
there
me.